Welcome. Welcome. Boy, do we have a show for you all tonight. Now listen, still going to be the same hype, De La Spurs. We're still going to bring the energy to y'all. But tonight's show is going to be a little bit different. It's going to go a little bit different than how it usually goes. I'm going to be calling out some fans here tonight. That's right. I'm calling out fans here tonight. As you can see in the title, and we'll get into it. There's some fans right now that need to be spoken to. Need to be spoken about. There's some people in the club that we'll get into that need to be spoken to and spoken about. We're going to get into it all. I'm going to talk about it all. But first, give yourselves a round of applause for being here tonight. You could have been anywhere else in the world. You're here with me. And that's what's important. It's important to me. Times like this, we need each other. I'm about to lose my mind following this Tottenham team. I know it's the same way for y'all. Don't worry. We're all in the same boat. We're in different parts of the boat, different levels. Some of y'all are in the poop deck. But we'll get into it all. But, of course, give yourselves a round of applause, people. Come on. I'm never going to tell you to not clap for yourselves in being here tonight. I hope you'll keep clapping for me as well. Once they go ahead and bring my big head on the screen. How we doing today, folks? It is De La Spurs. We're coming to you live Monday night, February 2nd. It has been a pretty somber day for most Spurs fans as we come to a close of the transfer window tonight. And, it's looking like we didn't really do any moves. There was a single player that we completed a loan deal for. We'll get into all of that. But, honestly, man. It's just another day in paradise, right? It's another day in paradise. I'm losing my head at work. Thank goodness, right? Thank goodness on my job. I was able to get out of the office. I had to do some physical work. I had to put together some parts for the showcase we're doing for some partners in business that are going to be swinging by the office. So I had to put together some things. So I was hands-on today. I couldn't be on my phone. I couldn't be refreshing Twitter. Obviously, you saw me go on my rants earlier. There was a point in the day where I was on X, and you could probably see in the timeline where I just go dead silent, radio silent, is when I was needed at work. And boy, was it needed, because, man, I was losing my mind. Honestly, and we're going to get into it. We're going to get into everything. But I have to talk about a certain sect of this Tottenham fan base that just continue to they let me down. They disappoint me because I don't live in England. I don't live in London. I don't live in Europe. I don't live anywhere close to Tottenham, all right? I fell in love with the team from a distance here in America. Story's not uncommon for a lot of fans, all right? So doesn't need to be a surprise. Doesn't need to be a shock, all right? This is a big club with an international fan base, and I am one of them. But I am part of the international fan base that is very, very disappointed with the domestic fans. Very. And I'll get into it all. Don't worry. We'll get into it all. Talk about the transfer window, man. We're going to be talking about the transfer window, the disappointment in that, obviously. calling out the fans. We're going to be talking about, I'm going to go deep into who is exactly running Tottenham right now, who's in charge, and what is happening, and why it's happening. We're also going to, of course, talk about the draw against Man City at home. We're also going to talk about the failure of the protest. Again, just absolutely shambles, just shambolic. But before we get into everything and before we start the show, let's go ahead, folks. Can we do the logistics? Can you do the logistics for me, please? Can we go ahead, hit a like on the live stream, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on X as well. Get those numbers up, get the interactions up, get the numbers going so you can get more De La Spurs content. Hopefully this message gets spread to some fans. I know I'm on probably a whole different algorithm than the domestic fans at Tottenham just from simply being in a different country. So I'm probably just, as far as time zones, when I post, when I go live, it's probably just all going to be on a different algorithm. I'm not going to be in any sort of mainstream, main focus over there. But I hope that maybe, just maybe, this video gets shared enough here on the algorithm I'm on now. Granted, this algorithm's not a lot. I'm only barely getting a viewer in these live streams, if any. So not saying I'm necessarily going to be ringing and knocking on everybody's doors, but hopefully you guys have it in your heart to share this content. If you go ahead and put some comments below, put your opinions in there, get people talking, right? Don't be afraid, folks. Don't be afraid. I'm not going to try to attack you guys or anything like that, but hey, get this message over to I would love for this video, this live stream to go over to there so people can see and kind of hear what I'm saying with all of this. So like, subscribe. You'll get more De La Spurs content. The more interaction I see, the more I'm going to post. I'm already thinking about doing a live reaction depending on when we play, but we usually play on Sundays, so I'm off work. I'll try to do maybe some more live reactions and stuff, get some more interactions with you guys, post some more content. So you don't want to miss any of it. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube, hit the notification bell, follow me on X. I always post when I'm going live. I'll give updates if I'm running behind schedule, if I'm not going to go live. So that way you don't have to worry, your pretty little heads, when and where and why you can or can't see De La Spurs great content. So go ahead and follow me on those platforms if you can. Thank you so very much. People, we're going to go ahead and just kind of get into this. I just want to dive in first. We're just going to go. It's honestly been it's been a dreadful last 48 hours for me as a Tottenham fan. So I'm going to probably have some head loss at some point in this. Oh, God. Already did. Already did. So don't take this the wrong way, folks, but there might be some head loss in this. All right, I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way, like I'm yelling at you, like I'm coming at you in a certain way, but it is what it is, okay? At this point, I'm just going to be kind of going down chronologically and just kind of where my head's been at and how it's just been falling apart really in the last 48 hours. And we're going to first start off with the draw at home against Manchester City. Now we're gonna go through the game as we usually do, but yeah, obviously from the jump, kind of how, like I mentioned in the last live, there's a little bit of a divided audience on what they wanted to have, of what result we would want to happen in this game. Do we want to actually get points from this game to prevent Man City from catching up with Arsenal in the title race? Do we say that we need points from this game because we don't want to be dragged? Tottenham doesn't want to be dragged into a relegation battle, and we need all the points we can get. It was a dilemma that honestly is not new for us fans. We've been in this situation before. So for a lot of fans, it was honestly their preference. I did not want us to lose this game. I did not want to. I want us to get all the points that we could get. I would never say that we should lose, but there was a certain point, and we'll get into it. I just did not care after what happened in the game, and that's what we're gonna talk about. We'll first start off with the starting lineups. So let's see here. I got it pulled up here on SofaScore. Where you at, Bubba? Here we go. So starting lineups, starting back with Vicario, who made a couple of good saves, but other than that, that first goal, absolutely horrible positioning. Um, in the back, we played a back three. We had Polina, Christian Romero, and Dragusin, who honestly hasn't even played a game in I don't know how long, so looked pretty rusty out there. Christian Romero, I think, honestly, just kind of was just left on an island. He's not with this partnership. He's playing with a guy that I'm not sure how much Dragus and Romero have played before. If I remember correctly, I think usually that partnership was like a Dragusin and Van de Ven, if they were even together. But I don't think he's had a lot of playing time with Dragusin. Obviously hasn't played in a back three with Paulinho and Dragusin before. So I think he was just kind of left on the island alone. Paulinho, I think he's just kind of like the Swiss Army knife that we need in the team. We could put him pretty much almost in any position, and he's been good for us. But I mean, not a good first half from the team. Out wide, we had Udogi and Archie Gray playing out on the wings. In the midfield, we had Conor Gallagher and Basuma. Playing up top, we had Simmons, Kolo Muani, and Dominic Solanke, who got the 2 goals on the game, saved Tottenham the point. Has been on a little bit of a streak, so you have to give him some credit there. But other than that, yeah, starting lineup, I mean, we don't have anybody to play. Kind of going back, let's look at who we have available on the bench, right? So we had Pape Sarr, Matisse Tell, Wilson Odobert. I think it's Wani Byfield. That's the teenager out of the academy. We had Kinski, Souza, James Roswell, Callum Ulusesi, and I don't even know who that guy is. Rio. I don't even know how to pronounce that last name. So, bunch of academy kids. We literally do not have any senior players available. If you want to count Pape Sarr as a senior player, you can. But yeah, we don't have any senior players available. Matisse Tell, Wilson Odobert are teenagers, not senior players. I feel is out of the academy. I guess you could say Kinski's a senior player, but by how much? And then Souza as well. I mean, yeah, it's just we're pretty much scraping the bottom of the barrel that we have as far as our squad. And obviously, with what we'll get into with the transfer window being the way it is, we are pretty much, yeah, just scraping the bottom of the barrel. We have nothing left to throw into these games. We are playing all the senior players that we can play on the field. We only have 11 senior players available. That means all 11 players that we're playing right now are the senior players on the team that should be getting time. And even then, I don't know if you can necessarily consider Archie Gray a senior player because he's also, again, a teenager. So swap that with Pape Sarr. That's 11 senior players. 11 senior players that we can play. Everybody else, teenagers, are from the academy, right? So starting lineup is, as much as you don't like it, I think the only thing you can test with is the formation. But I think a lot of fans are saying that we need to play 5 at the back. Try it once again. But, yeah, as far as the actual personnel, don't got anybody. What can we do? I mean, what can you do? What can you do? Going into the first half versus the second half, obviously the first half was just absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific first half. we'll get into the stats here, right? So, first of all, in the first half, we had 40% possession. That's what it looked like. We had one XG, so one expected goal, but two big chances in the. Oh no, I'm sorry. This was. Oh no, yeah. This is the first half. So two big chances. No, this is for the. I'm sorry. I'm not clicking on the first half. That's my fault. I'm a dummy. So this is the actual first half stats. We only had 36% possession in that first half, with only 0.17 expected goal rate. We had no big chances, 3 shots in total. We had a save from Vicario. Vicario made a great save up close from Ryan Cherky. But other than that, that first goal Cherky had, I think it was just horrible positioning on Vicario's part. I think he was at a distance to where he should be able to see it coming and be able to get down for the save, but he didn't, and just a horrible first goal to give up. You only had, let's see, and each team finished with 2 yellow cards. So obviously, Manchester City, they had the one big chance. I think with that Semenyo breakaway chance, they had 6 shots. They only had to make 1 save. Yeah, man, it was a horrible first half. And to be quite honest, at that point, I didn't really care what the result was. We could have won that game. We could have lost that game. I didn't care. I was sick of what I was seeing. It's the same thing. It's the same flaccid type of playing. And this time, I get it, right? Where I will cut some slack, right, is that we have nobody, right? There's no way that we can make subs. So these players that are playing right now, they can't go balls out 100% in the first half. They'll eventually burn out. They'll get injured, and we can't afford that. So there is going to be complacency, naturally. But that first half was it was god-awful. God-awful. And at that point, I didn't care what happened. I didn't care what happened in that game. We didn't have the intensity. It honestly didn't look like we were trying to press. If we did, it was not a correct press, right? Nobody was closing in on the ball in time. Nobody was closing in on the players who weren't able to keep up with their passing. They were passing right through us. It was just a complete and utter mess. And it just felt like, again, I know there's going to be some complacency, but how many times have I seen this? We've all seen this from the squad where you see the players out there on the field and they're just, we're not up for it. We're not up for it. This is not our game. Now, granted, right, the crowd and the fans there in the stands were completely silent. And I get it. There's not a lot to be inspired, not a lot to go off of, right? We were being played through. We didn't look great on the ball. It was a bad first half. But the fact that there was so much resignation, no chance of Enoch out, everybody there resigned to the fact and sat there silently and watched it happen. As if you were a little child watching your two parents argue, yell at each other, right? You're just sitting there, hands clasped like this in your lap, probably not even looking at the game, just looking down at their feet, just letting it happen. No chance of Enoch out, no chance of Lange out. Hell, I don't even think I heard a Thomas Frank out chant. It was just fans who just simply there to exist, which is my big issue with a lot of fans. But then we go into the second half. In the second half, it is a complete 180 of how we were playing. Now, granted, you look at the stats, right? XG, it was 0.88, so a little bit better, but still not expected any goals. 2 big chances that we did capitalize on. You didn't have to make any saves in the second half. I don't want to say we completely dominated them, but obviously we were able to. I think, first of all, we switched into the back four. I think that kind of helped and kind of put people in their more natural positions. But I think we kind of sat in a little bit more, created our chances, used the momentum for the first goal, went ahead and grabbed the second goal, right? Xavi Simon stood up. Dominic Solanke stood up. I thought when Pape Sarr came in, I thought he had a good game as well. Conor Gallagher, I think he had a pretty decent second half as well. It felt like everybody then started to put their energy and intensity into the game, and we were able to somewhat catch Man City off guard and got 2 quick goals, right? Or 2 back-to-back goals, I should say. And we're able to – I'm not sure if we were necessarily going to get a third, but we definitely looked like we were more up for it in the second half. And again, I think that's just kind of more of a complacency thing. I think the players knew they probably weren't going to be able to go 100% for a full 90 minutes. So keep the trend going. Shitty first half. Turn the intensity, turn the megaphones up on the second half, and you go hard. And that's, I mean, to be quite honest, it's a little, I don't want to say it's insulting as a fan to watch, but it is just like, it's like that. It's like us, right? It feels like that's a Spursy thing. And I don't necessarily mean like Spursy and like we're blowing a game or we're bottling a game or something like that, where you blow a lead or something like that. It feels like it's Spursy in a sense that we always tend to go for it when it feels like it doesn't matter anymore. Like when it feels like there's nothing to give a crap about is when we start to give a crap. And you get the 2 goals back against Man City. That's great. Honestly, great. Two goals. Dominic Solanke, that scorpion kick goal, awesome goal. We're probably going to be seeing highlights of that. Again, it's like we get the goals. I don't want to say necessarily when we don't need them. We need the goals because we needed this point from this game. But it's like game was over. And then you see us trying to do scorpion kicks. We're doing flick-on kicks. We're doing all – like, where is this spark of intensity, innovation, creativity, drive in the first half? When the crowd's up for it, when the other team is not expecting it, they're just trying to get themselves into the game. You think if you could just put your boot on the back of their throat just for the first half, we probably could have been up 2 goals. Honestly, that lack of intensity, the lack of pressing, everything that we saw in the first half is the reason why Man City scored. Other than that, if we played the second half in the first, I don't think Man City would have scored. Now, if we want to vice versa that, and we would say, okay, then we would have fallen off towards the end, then you could also make the argument that would have been Spursy because we would have went up 2-0. We would have blown the lead probably. Man City would have gotten the draw. It still would have been disappointing probably on their part, but it would have been way more disappointing on our part, right? But I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm insulted a little bit as a fan watching it because it's like you could have gone for it more. Again, everybody's hurt. Everybody's injured, right? Players can't go 100% the full game, but just with the trend, especially in how we've been seeing this team play, if this was like a one-off, maybe I wouldn't. But with the context of pretty much the last 5 to 6 games, especially in the Premier League, going out that way, it feels like the players only give the energy at the end, so that way they don't have to be like as tired, or they wouldn't have to give as much for a full 90 minutes. Because this is against Man City too, so you can't make the argument, oh, well, they don't get up for the smaller teams and then they play, they get up for it when they're playing for the bigger teams, right? We're playing Man City. So this is the big team. And still in that first half, we looked like we couldn't give a fuck who we were playing against. We weren't doing anything. We were just whole first half was just a whole bunch of that. But no, second half we got the point. Get 2 goals. We got the draw. All in all, can't necessarily be disappointed if you were a fan that was ultimately just looking simply at the result of the game and saying that we needed some points from this game. We did get a point. So if you're looking at it that way, you're happy. If you're a fan that's only looks at how we play football, you're probably happy about the second half, not so happy about the first half. If you're a fan like me, you're probably like, this team never looked like they were up for it in the beginning, so I really don't care what happened because the whole approach from beginning, from the whistle blow, was wrong. It was all wrong. So whatever else happens is a matter of whatever Manchester City does and not what we do. That's what it felt like to me. Now, you could say we were good enough to get those 2 goals from Man City, but I could also make the argument that, and this is just back and forth trying to make an argument against another argument. I'm arguing with myself, to be quite honest. It's not like anybody's saying this to me, but I can make the counter argument in a sense that, yes, we forced Man City to concede those 2 goals. But I could also make the argument that if we played that way in the first half, honestly, I think we could have still scored more in the second half because Man City would have to been going for it. They would have been pushing forward. They would have been giving up space and time, right? And I think we could have probably got another or 2 on a counter attack, right? I think, honestly, if we had that approach from the first half, we probably could have got a more positive result out of the game. But I don't know. I just feel insulted that the team is like they didn't want to try until it didn't matter. And then, okay, it ended up being cool because we got a point out of it. But it's like, well, dog, you didn't – when everybody was up for it and everybody was down and behind you, you didn't do anything. And then when everybody abandoned – and we'll get into it actually, leading into the next topic, right? The Enoch out protest. And this is going to be kind of my part 1, calling out the domestic fans, right? As I recall, right, to use proper English, as I recall, there was a change for Tottenham protests scheduled for February 1st when we played against Man City. As a matter of fact, I'll bring up the little graphic change for Tottenham made. Change for Tottenham protest. Sunday, 1st February, Tottenham v Man City. The board will not listen to silence. They will not listen to patience. They will only listen when match-going fans hear that. They will only listen when match-going fans, one more time, they will only listen when match-going fans show visible, collective discontent. If we don't act together inside the stadium, nothing changes. And that's just the first part. That's just the first part. It gets into, it describes in detail what the protests we're going to be doing. So it says before kickoff to 4 p.m., right? Now, I don't know necessarily what the kickoff time was locally over there, right? I know what it was for me, and it was like in the morning time. It was like 9, 10 in the morning. So I don't know what it was like for you guys, but I imagine it was an evening game. So this is evening time. Before kickoff, 4 p.m. Meet on the south stand area outside. Bring flags, scarves, banner. Join chants against the owners. Make the message loud before a ball is even kicked. So before you even get to the headline 75th minute walkout, they're asking the fans to gather up before kickoff to go ahead and gather the numbers, start getting the voices warmed up to chant against Enoch. Now, from what I've seen on X and what I've seen other fans say, that shit didn't happen. Either that shit didn't happen or nobody was there. One of the two. And I feel like it's probably both. Right? During the game, continue the Enoch out chants throughout the match. Boycott spending inside the stadium. Don't fund failure. That shit didn't happen. Didn't hear a soul in that first half, but I definitely know people were drinking, eating, doing whatever because they definitely didn't sound like they were interested in the football going on. So they were probably just walking around the stadium, treating it like a mall. Oh, let's go to these little shops here. Let's get something to eat. Let's get something to drink. Let's do this. Let's do that. Because I didn't hear anybody giving a single damn about the football game going on. Last but not least, it says at 75 minutes, we encourage all fans to leave the stadium, head to support a local pub, and watch the remainder of the match there. So they said, leave the stadium. Don't sit there and say, oh, well, we don't care what happens about the game. Leave the stadium and just la, 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 all the way home and not care about the score, not stop somewhere to watch the game. No. Leave the stadium. Literally go to anywhere else outside of the stadium. Hell, you probably could have stood outside of the stadium and probably just watched the game from outside of the stadium. I'm not sure what the setup is, but I'm sure there's probably some structure that has the game showing. You probably could have just watched the game from outside of the stadium if you wanted. But don't be in the stadium after the 75th minute. Walk out so that it's dead inside. So regardless of whatever was happening in the game, right? Because some fans would argue, oh, we could have got an equal. At this time, wait, hold on. So at the 75th minute, so let's pull up SofaScore, right? Let's pull up SofaScore to see where we were in the 75th minute. So 75th minute, we were tied. We were tied in the 75th minute. Now, fans will say, well, we could have got a winner. We could have got the game-winning goal. You think I'm going to leave to not see the game-winning goal? Yes. Yes, I do. You know why? Because this game, this result, the game-winning goal is simply a small-term, short-term. I'm not going to say it's meaningless because it's 3 points towards the season if we did get a game-winning goal, right? So I'm not going to say it's meaningless. But when you're talking about the reason why they chose to do a protest that day, staying there to watch to see if we scored a goal, if we conceded a goal, is literally, first of all, what the Enoch and everybody wanted. And then two, it is the complete opposite of what the protest was for. This is the complete opposite. You staying in the stadium and cheering and rah, 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 like everything is okay, is the complete opposite of what the protest was for. It is the complete opposite of what's going on right now. Because as we can all see, it's not okay. And then at the end of the game, it ends up being a draw anyway. So we don't even win the game. It's still the same score it would have been when you left. You could have gone down to the local pub, gone down to a bar, go wherever, watch the game there. Hell, stand outside the stadium and watch the last 15 minutes of the game. Wait, with extra time, I think it was like 8 or 9 minutes. So last 23 to 24 minutes of the game. With stoppages and stuff, watch the last 10 minutes probably. Yeah, 15, 25 minutes. You could have watched the last 25 minutes of the game anywhere. All you had to do was not be in the stadium. And you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. You could even put the short-termness of just wanting to see another goal instead of saying, I want to see this infrastructure change for the better, for the future of this club. You couldn't even say that. You said, I would rather watch this team that, first of all, you don't even like the manager, right? Because you were going to boo the manager. You were going to boo the players if we lost that game. So you sitting there saying, well, I wanted to cheer the team if we scored. But if we didn't score, If we didn't get a draw, what were you going to do? Were you going to cheer then? Did you want to stay to cheer the team then, or would you want to boo? Would you want to boo? Would you want to voice your discontent and then fall into this team's not good enough. Oh, because the manager's not good enough. And the manager's not good enough because the ownership is not good enough. And I just can't wrap my head up. All right, let's go. Because that's exactly how it was going to go down. That's exactly what was going to happen. Fans in that state, if we didn't win that game, fans would have booed Thomas Frank. They would have booed all the players. They'd be chanting Thomas Frank out. They probably would have been chanting Enoch out at that point. But simply because it was a draw against Man City, we were tied 2-2, fans all of a sudden change up. Well, I could never go against the club at this moment in time. This is such a crucial moment for everybody and everything right now. Us getting this draw. We have to do this. We have to be here. We have to support. I remember the same thing happening last year. We can't protest against the ownership. We can't do that now. We're on this run to the Europa League. We can't. This team needs to get a win in the Premier League. If we're protesting, we need to be behind everybody. We can't possibly afford to. Here we are in the exact same situation. We can't afford to do that. We're tied against Man City. We could have got a game-winning goal. This is important. We needed the points. Granted, we do need the points. But we're seeing the same thing again. Fans, when it was domestic fans in London, fans in England, when it was time for you to stand up. And here's the thing, too. It was one of your own that made the protest. I didn't make the protest. There was no American fan, no fan from India, China, Asia, Australia, from other countries, Spain, Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, France, whatever country. We didn't make up this protest and tell you to do it. Fans there in London asked you to do it, and you couldn't even be bothered to do it there. One of your own. And you couldn't even be bothered to do it. And this is the issue. This is the issue. You fans that sat there and did nothing, you are the issue. And you know why you're the issue? Let's move it along. Next topic. The transfer window closed. Oh, and guess what? We didn't buy anybody. We didn't buy anybody. You sat there and you endorsed everything that was going on just for the egg to land exactly right square on your nose the next day. Because what happens, right? You're just happy we got just be happy. We got a draw against Man City. Just be happy. Just be happy we got the 2. Just be happy we played better football for 45 minutes. Just be happy. Just be happy. Okay, just be happy for the next day to do what? Are you happy now? Are you just going to say just be happy when we only have 11 senior players to field for the rest of the season pretty much? We're going to be getting players back, but when? And when you get those players back, I got Kulusevski, right? Take Kulusevski, for example. He comes back. He comes in. He's on great form. He's on lightning form. Say he scores 2 goals his first game, gets an assist the second game. 3 GA in 2 games. Kulusevski's back. We told you once he came back, he's the guy. He's our man. He's going to help this team get where we need to go. What do you think Thomas Frank is going to do? 1, he's going to overplay him. 2, what do you think is going to happen when he gets overplayed? He's going to get injured. And 3, to conclude, what do you think is going to happen when he's injured? He's going to play through the injury. And when he plays through the injury, last and not least, just to round it all up, a little extra on the end, he gets hurt again. And it's the same cycle we've been seeing with these players. You know why? Because when it comes to today, situations like today, where you have an opportunity to try to build upon the squad with players that you can are good enough to actually rely on, and then 2, build up a squad that can actually compete. Okay, not even say compete. Let's build up a squad that can actually survive 4 fucking competitions first. Can we do that? Can we make a squad that can actually survive through these competitions? To where we don't have 11 to 10 senior players that can play on the field, and we have nothing but academy players and teenagers to bring in? Can we build a squad that can at least get through a whole season without almost more than half of the players being injured? Can we at least build a squad that can get through that? Can we do that? It's in these situations, right? And this is why again, I have to call out the domestic fans. These situations where you get a chance to voice your discontent, to let people know, right? Because I see you fans complaining. I see fans complaining. Why does the media have this narrative? Why do the media say this about us? It's not fair. Spurs should be talked about this and this. We're doing this and this positive. Why does the media Okay, so here's your chance to control the narrative. Because we know it's BS what the ownership is doing, and I'll get into that. We know that the ownership is BS. The moves are making is BS. The players we're buying are BS. The reasons we're buying them are BS. You have your chance to voice your discontent and let the world know. And what do? You bottle it. You sit there in your seat with your hands in your lap and you're completely silent for the first 45 minutes. Probably not even paying attention to the game. Don't tell me. I guarantee you, if someone was going around with the camera, you're probably seeing this all throughout the game. People could not give, I guarantee you there's people on their phones, not even paying attention, could not give a fuck about what was going on. And then in the second half, it's actually time to put some action, right? Because you could at least chanted or said something. Stay in your seat, that's cool, fine. But you could at least said something. But now it's the time to act. It's time to actually get up and walk away. And what do? You stay in your seat. You couldn't be bothered because you wanted to watch another goal. The time you had to create the narrative, to let the fans speak, to let us, right? Because we complain about the media putting all these narratives about Spurs fans and what's going on with the club. Okay, so here's your opportunity to show other fans, to put it right in the media's face. This is what's going on in our club. This is how we feel. And if you want more of this, come to us. Don't talk to Vinay. Don't talk to Enoch in the group. Don't talk to the players. Don't talk to Thomas Frank. Talk to us. Come interview us. Don't talk to them because they're just going to lie to you, just like they've been lying to us. So come talk to the fans because every game, there's not going to be nobody there. And the few people who are there, guess what they're saying? Enoch out. Why do you feel that way? Come talk to us. Come talk to us and we'll tell you. But you know what Spurs fans did? You know what the fans did in that moment? They sat in their seat, they clapped, and they cheered. They were complicit with everything that was going on, almost to the point where they were dead silent. And obviously everything up top is going wrong, so that's always going to be a constant. But when the tactics, players, all the injuries, the tactics are off, Thomas Frank, when it looks like everything is completely falling apart in that first 45 minutes. And that's what I wanted to kind of hit on. I already said it, but in that first 45 minutes, it literally looked like this is the end for Tottenham. This is the beginning of the end, if it's not already the end. I think we're already past that point, but I'm like, this is the point where it goes straight down. It's no longer an angle. It's no longer a decline. It's a drop. It is a drop. 11 senior players. We have nobody above the age of 21 that's coming off the bench for us. Nobody on that bench can go out to the bar. If we would have won that game, half of that squad would have just had to go home. They would have gone to the bar and ordered what? Some chips, some fish and chips, and a fruity beverage, and they would have gone home. They can't drink alcohol. Hell, some of those people on the bench probably didn't even drive to the game. They had to get driven to the game because they don't have a license. They don't have a vehicle. They're not old enough or responsible enough yet to have that. Their parents are probably still telling them things. They're still probably getting text messages from their parents about what they need to be doing, fixing up and stuff. Make sure you're doing your homework. That's our bench. You look on the field in that first 45 minutes, the players looked like they couldn't give a fuck. They didn't care. Man City passing the ball right through us, scoring with ease. No fight. I'm like, this is the end. This is the absolute end of Tottenham. And what were the fans doing? They were sitting there silent, just watching it. Complicit. Well, are you complicit now because we have – I'm sorry. We bought one player. On loan. Welcome to the club. James Wilson. Yay! James Wilson. Welcome to the club, James Wilson. James Wilson, a lovely lad from Ireland that plays for the club Hearts in Ireland. And no, that's in Scotland, isn't it? I'm sorry, it's no. Hold on. Actually, let me see where this dude. I don't even know where this dude is from. Either way, congrats on coming to Tottenham, right? You're never gonna see the Spurs team, okay? You're never gonna get in here. Let me just tell you that right now. Whatever lie. Well, let me not say that we lied to you directly. Whatever lie we told your agent, in which your agent relayed that lie to you, you're not getting anywhere near the first team. You'll probably come into the academy, in which if you're not good enough to be in our academy, you're going out on loan to Lord knows where. Probably a club that's at the same level of Hearts, right? You'll probably be sent back out to Hearts. So you'll probably be going back to right where you started, except you're playing for Tottenham. You're going to be in this contract with us. We're going to be paying you to go out on loan every season and then come do a photo shoot in the summer with the first team. We'll need you for the photo shoots with the first team. Actually, no, he's not even going to make it to the summer. He's just a loaning. It's just a loan signing. So I don't even know what he's for. He's a loan signing. And we're not even going to actually see him play. What is this for? Who is this for? It's literally just to say we bought somebody on the deadline day. You can't say we didn't buy anybody. You can't say we didn't buy anybody. We got James motherfucking Wilson on the deadline signing. He's not even good enough to play on a team that we would send our youth academy team on loan for. He's not good enough to play for a team that we would send Mikey Moore to on loan. He's not good enough to get into their squad. And we bought him. Or we loaned him. For what? For what? Well, but don't worry. We drew against Man City, everybody. This is what I'm saying. We did all that. We forgone everything. We literally just said, forget all of this. Because I want to see if we can beat Man City. It's 2-2. And I want to see if we can get a last-minute winner against Man City. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You domestic fans are ridiculous. And you know what's so funny? And I get social media is only one aspect of it. But I remember there's so many conversations going on about Are international fans a problem? We're having these international fans that come in that don't know anything about the club, that are coming in and are just happy clapping everything that's going on. Well, what the fuck was that yesterday? What the fuck was that if that's not just happy clapping? You did exactly that. You sat there and you clapped happily to get a draw against Man City. When you're literally watching you're literally watching the ceiling on fire. And because the smoke hasn't got low enough yet to consume you, you're just sitting there clapping. We're gonna see how long this clapping continues, right? We're gonna see how long, because I want to see how many fans are gonna be cool with draws. I better not hear any. I don't want to hear any negative talk about Spurs getting a draw anymore. If you have your chance to voice your discontent, but you said the draw was more important than actually doing anything to try to get this ownership out and try to get some sort of change for your club, then I don't want to hear anybody complain about any time Tottenham gets a draw for the rest of the season. Every time we draw, either 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, in whatever manner, if we go up 4-0 and we end up conceding 4 goals in the last 4 minutes, I don't want to hear fans complaining because that was important, right? We should have been there, right? We needed to be there and uplift the team to see if we could get the game winner, right? I don't want to hear anybody complaining about any result that's a draw. A draw or higher, fans better be shaking their bums, shaking their little tail feathers. Because you had the chance. You had the opportunity. And you know what sucks? There's so many fans like me that would kill to be in your position. Kill to be in your position. Because we have to deal. We don't get to just. For us, it's so much different than us. You want to talk about an escape? Right? You want to talk about an escape? We don't get to watch soccer like this or football like this anywhere in this country. Most countries don't get to watch football or soccer like that anywhere. You're talking about you want an escape from work. You want to escape from what you're seeing. I have to watch the MLS. I have to watch the MLS. The Major League Soccer, the league you guys make fun of, I have to watch that. That's what I should be watching. That's what I'm forced to watch. But I follow Tottenham because, first of all, I love the club. But second, I like the football they were playing in the league they were playing it in and the competitiveness of that league. That's what I liked about it. And I would do anything to keep that because, one, here in America, everything is about money. It's getting that way with the Premier League, but it's on a whole nother level here in America, obviously, right? You're talking about organizations that can pay players $500 million, right? We have players here playing football that are making $500 million in their contract. $500 million. It's all about the money over here. Competitiveness is done. The only teams that are competitive are the only teams that can afford it. And like I said, it's getting that way with the Premier League, but lo and behold, team like Tottenham that can afford to be competitive, but you literally have such incompetence in the ownership, in the fan base, that here we are playing, having to compete amongst the teams that don't have the platform that we have to compete. You don't think of a Bournemouth and the Aston Villa or all these other teams that have the same platform we have? You don't think they would have taken that to the moon? Especially with the teams they're having now? The money they're making now because they're actually getting good, they're getting attention, they're getting a draw, right? If they had the same platform as us, to the moon, you don't think Unai Emery would have taken Aston Villa and done something completely different if they would have had the money Spurs had, if they would have been considered a Big Six team, so they get the media following, all the stuff that comes with us being Tottenham and fans wanting to preserve the Big Six status, right? If any other of those teams would have had that, they would have taken that to the moon. Here we are playing on the ground. Here we are just trying to scrap points against Burnley. Here we are saying that we had a decent performance against Bournemouth. Here we are losing to West Ham. We lost to West Ham. Here we are, year 2 of being in a near relegation battle. So, it's getting the same way. I get it. It's getting the same way. It pays to play with the Premier League, right? But where I'm at here in America, it's so bad. I don't get to see teams compete anymore. Half of these leagues, in football and basketball, the 2 most popular sports, half the teams in the league give up once half the season's over. Once they know there's absolutely nothing they can do for the season, they actually do the opposite of give up. They tank. They purposely put in effort to lose games. Competitiveness is gone here in America. So I love the fact that I can go and watch Tottenham, and there's still teams, sports, leagues that still care about the pure competitiveness of the sport. Fan bases that put pride of the team and wanting to win trophies over how much money we're making. What is my social media status going to do? What is this team doing for my social media status? Which celebrities like this team, right? If there's a situation like Tottenham where you got a multimedia megaplex stadium, what's going on at this stadium? Who can I see here? Who's coming through here at this stadium? That's why I'm a fan of the team, because if I don't watch the football team, I know this celebrity or this pop star, this singer, this artist, this sporting event's going to be at the same stadium, and I'll be able to go there and whatever. It's just oh man, you guys blew it so bad. I'm so upset and I'm so disappointed that these fans are going to blow it. They've blown it so bad, and then all I'm going to have to hear is your moaning and complaining about how the season is not going the way you want it to go when you had an opportunity to voice that already. You're preaching to the choir when you're talking about what's wrong with this ownership. What's wrong with it? We're past that. We all know there's something wrong with it. We're past the point of trying to find a prescription for it. We're to the point now, we're trying to get the ownership out. And yet here are the domestic fans sitting there complicit with everything. They allowed it all. I can't, it's just baffling to me. It's baffling to me how a fan base can sit there and just allow all this to happen. And I hate the fact that I'm now feeding into this, because this fan base rather eat itself. They rather go after each other than go after the ownership. You rather go after fans and say, well, why would you leave the club at 70? Why would you leave the stadium at 75 minutes of the game? We could have won that game. You're not a real fan, because a real fan would have stayed there in the 75th minute, and they would have clapped the team if we would have drawn, because it was a good effort in the second half. And you're not a real fan because... And here I am looking dumb. Oh, well, you're not a real fan because there's real issues going on past fucking Man City, a 2-2 draw against Man City. But here you are. Oh, I'm so happy we got the draw. Everything. Let's just be happy, guys. We just want to be happy, right? Let's just be happy we got the draw against a big team. Let's just be happy we played football good for 45 minutes. Let's just be happy, guys. We're just happy, right? Now here I am having to call you guys out. And we're sitting here eating each other versus coming together to get this ownership out. The true issue. And here's what we're going to do we're going to talk about just exactly who's in charge, right? Because I don't want to say I can't go after the fans. I can continue to go after Spurs fans, but I have to talk about what the issue is, what the real issue is. I can't go after fans, because then fans are just going to, it's just going to be a whole, oh, I'm the bigger fan than you because I do this and I care about these things. And, oh, I'm the bigger fan because I can actually go to games and you don't go to games. And, oh, if you cared, you would have traveled because I travel to see the team. And, like, whatever, dude. The real issue is this. Who the fuck is Van Eyck? Who the fuck is this guy? Well, I'll tell you who he is. Let's pull it up here. And this is Wikipedia, by the way. I'm not doing some deep dive. I don't have friends that live in England that are sports agents that worked with Van Eyck, all right? I don't have some sort of in. I'm just literally looking it up. Van Eyck Venkatesan is a British football administrator. He is the chief executive of Tottenham Hotspur. Life and career. Former employee of Arsenal in a variety of roles. He was appointed managing director to replace the outgoing Ivan Gazidis. Immediately before the promotion, he was the chief commercial officer. So he was a CCO before he got promoted to managing director of like the footballing operations. Before that, he worked at the London 2012 Olympic and Paralympic Games prior to joining Arsenal, and then onwards to his current role as CEO of Tottenham Hotspur. So let's just stop right there. Just stop right there. He worked at the London 2012 Olympics and Paralympic Games before he joined Arsenal. So first, he had no footballing experience and running football operations in anything before joining Arsenal, before joining the scum across the street, right? The whatever reason why they hired them, don't know, don't care. But they did. Before that, he was working the 2012. He wasn't doing anything remotely related to football. He was working at the Olympics. He was working in sports, but he wasn't even working in football. He wasn't even working in our sport. And even then, you probably have to dive deeper to see what his role with the London Olympics were, because it damn sure wasn't running the operations of it. It more than likely wasn't running the operations of it. To continue, his current role, CEO of Tottenham Hotspur, is also currently a non-executive director of the British Olympic Association. He serves on the board of executive committee of the European Club Association, on the board of the joint venture, the UCCSA, between UEFA and the Europa Club Association. He's previously been a non-executive director of the 2017 World Athletic Championships in London. Okay, so my fault. He has been a director. He's just been a director of literally everything that's outside of football, right? Anything that's having to deal with football, right? He first got his actual experience when he joined Arsenal. So to finish this up, in September 2023, it was announced that he would step down from his position at Arsenal CEO in the summer of 2024. He was appointed the officer of the Order of the British Empire in the 2024 New Year's blah, blah, blah. On April 11th, 2025, Tottenham Hotspur announced Van Eyck Venkatesan would be joining their board of directors as chief executive officer in the summer. So you went from, in 2023, he announced he was stepping down in the summer of 2024, to being announced as CEO at Tottenham 1 year later. So, and I'm not sure how long he was at Arsenal, but he went from being at Arsenal for however many years, right, to leaving not as a CEO, but as a CCO at most for Arsenal. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, he was a CCO, then got promoted to managing director, and then left to become the CEO at Tottenham. So this guy, who has had no footballing experience other than working at Arsenal, right, for the scum down the street, and even then You could say he left in 2023. He announced he was leaving in 2024. So 2 years ago now. If I remember correctly, Arsenal didn't start actually competing for the league until around 2023. So up until that point, Arsenal were with Mikel Arteta. They were getting fifth, eighth. They won an FA Cup. Cool. But weren't competing for the league, right? Squad wasn't in the best position. And he was there running the whole show up until that point. He got moved out. And then all of a sudden, you see Arsenal challenge for the league. You see these signings that they're making. You see the progression in the next step solidifying itself. And you can say that, and I hate to say it, for God's sakes, they're going to win the fucking league this season. It's just a fact at this point. Sorry, folks. But if you saw the way Man City play, they don't have any they don't have any inspiration for a title fight. Aston Villa is too inconsistent. Liverpool is just trying to hang on to Europe. This is Arsenal's year. Sorry, folks. If only we could do something about it. But, hey, you know, that would require actual action from the fan base, right? We couldn't just sit there and watch football, so can't do anything about it. All we can do as a fan base is sit there and either complain and say this or say that. We can't do anything actionable. We apparently have no say. We have no voice. There's no structure in the fan base. We don't know what we want. We could go on a 2 to 3 game win streak and everybody would act like nothing even happened. If we got Europe this season, people would, oh, Thomas Frank in. Oh, goody. Not all is forgiven, Thomas. You got us, Europe. All is forgiven. Your football works. We got Europe. We have all is forgiven. All right. And you know what's going to be great too about the summer too, Thomas, is that the ownership is going to be backing us 150 million pounds in the war chest we got, waiting for the summer, waiting for you, so we can go ahead and win another trophy. Go ahead. Same old BS, right? But hey, no action, right? We can't be bothered, right? Fans can't be bothered. They're sitting there like this, right? And the fans saw there's only 11 senior outfield players on the field, and even those players were completely disjointed for a full 45 minutes, and the manager couldn't do anything. This is what the fans are doing. Wait, no, I'm sorry. They were... Oh, come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Huh? Come on, you Spurs. Oh, it's halftime? That's what the first half was. That's what they were either chilling, hanging back like this, or they weren't even paying attention to the game whatsoever. So this fan base couldn't care. They couldn't do anything. They're not going to get Vinay out, right? We're not going to ask for, hold on, where is it? Where's his name? Where's this motherfucker at? Right? We're not going to do anything to get this son of a bitch out of here. But who is he? Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Johan Lange, football executive, Danish football executive, and former manager. He is currently the sporting director of the Premier League club Tottenham Hotspur. Now, a little known fact people might have not known, Johan Lange is a coach. He's a coach. He was an assistant manager. He worked as an assistant before he took over the Lyngby club in the Danish First Division. He was fired, by the way. As you can see, he was. Oh, so let's see here. So he was hired by the Lyngby club as the head coach on February 2nd, 2013. In 2014, he was transitioned to a different role at Copenhagen. So between 2013 and 2014, He was fired. Whether you want to say he left for greener pastures, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything that would warrant him keeping his job at that club. He was there for a year, if any. As an assistant manager, he was he was an assistant manager at Copenhagen for 3.5 years. He then went to assistant coach at Wolverhampton Wanderers on June 30th, 2012. But after a string of poor results, by January 5th of 2013, he left. So, probably about a year there as an assistant manager, sucked with Wolves, went over to Luton Town. Well, no, I'm sorry. They lost to Luton Town. That's what ended up him losing his job. And then in February, he went to Lyngby, where he was there for maybe about a year. Then he went to work at Copenhagen as a sporting director. Technical director. They're saying when he was at Copenhagen in 2014, in this role, he became known for his apparent knack of signing players for a low cost, then later selling them for a great profit to Europe's elite clubs, all whilst Copenhagen continued to win trophies domestically and compete in the UEFA Champions League. In 2020, July, so summer 2020, Lange joined Premier League team Aston Villa as a sporting director following Aston Villa's survival from relegation the previous season and subsequent departure of Jesus Garcia Pitarch. As the sporting director, Lange was tasked with helping build a team that would challenge at the top half of the Premier League rather than battling against relegation. So he was tasked with building a team to just finish in the top 10. Aston Villa was like, we don't want to be relegated, right? I think that's probably at the top. I think in 2020, I don't know if they had Grealish still, but I don't think they had Grealish still. So, they're probably decimated from the squad. Their star player just left. They're like, we don't want to be relegated. Just please keep us in the top 10. Keep that in mind, right? So you're already talking about on the coaching side, this dude is an absolute failure, right? He went to like 3 clubs in 3 years, failed at all 3, right? 2014 becomes a sporting director, makes his name known for Copenhagen because you're talking about Copenhagen, which, I'm sorry, they're the biggest team in that, they're the biggest club in that league. So I think it's the Danish league. I think they're the biggest club in that league. So they're getting their pick of the litter as far as best players and as far as the funds to operate versus the other teams in the league. They're probably going to be at the top of the list. So you're talking about him operating at a very top club. Now, granted, made his name known, right? Copenhagen got into the Champions League, which you win that league, it's going to be pretty easy to be in the Champions League. You just got to win that league. Seems like they were doing that, right? They're the biggest team, best team in that league. So pretty called for they'll win that league and make it to the Champions League, right? Selling players to the other European clubs. You could say, hey, for a guy in that role, for a club that size, good job. Good job. 6 years later, joins Aston Villa. They're just like, just keep us out of the top 10. Or just keep us out of the bottom 10. I'm sorry. Lange was tasked with helping to build the team, stay in the top 10 rather than battle against relegation. The signings of Emi Martinez, Matty Cash, Bertrand Traore, Ollie Watkins, Morgan Sanson, as well as Ross Barkley, joining on loan from Chelsea, helped Aston Villa achieve that goal, finishing 11th in his first season and spending most of the season in the top half of the table and not having to be in danger of relegation. 3 years later, 2023, as part of the internal restructuring process, Munchie was named as Aston Villa's president of football operations. Lange now assumed the role of global director of football development and international academies. All right? Now, if you're like me, you're probably saying that's a made-up fucking bullshit title. And that the team is probably making up that title so they can make space to get rid of him. And lo and behold, this was in June of 2023. In October of 2023, you're talking about June, the 6th month of the year to October, the 10th month. So 4 months later, he leaves Aston Villa to become the technical director at Tottenham Hotspur. And in 2025, last year in October, he was promoted to the joint sporting director role alongside Fabio Paratici. So, and we obviously know how the story goes from there. Paratici has left, who, by the way, newsflash, folks, he was never working in this January window. Again, similar to what the global director of football development and international academies is. Yeah, that was a bunch of bullshit. All right, him staying until January when he already signed for Fiorentina was bullshit. All right, kind of funny how these guys that we know are really good at kind of falling into these meshy, gray bullshit areas that feel like they're just kind of made up so that the team can continue doing whatever they're doing, and everybody thinks everything is fine, right? So, oh no, Paratici's still here at Tottenham. He's going to help us, right? Everybody remembers the good signings Paratici was making. He's going to be here for the January window. Guess who he helped bring in for us? James fucking Wilson. And I guarantee you, if you look up Fiorentina, and I'm not saying they're signing world beaters or world-class players, but I guarantee you they made more signings this January than us. I guarantee that. I'm not even going to look it up. I just know it for a fact. Don't even correct me. Don't even say anything. I already know. So, you're looking at here with Johan Lange, who is now the sporting director at Tottenham, right? He had maybe 6 years at a small club where he was doing pretty good. He had 3 years of it. Because, I mean, you look at the signings he made at Aston Villa. I mean, Emi Martinez, great signing. Matty Cash, solid buy, still playing for them now. Bertrand Traore, don't know where the fuck he's at. Ollie Watkins, great player, still there now. Morgan Sanson, not there now. Don't know where he's at, don't know what he's doing. Ross Barkley, that guy still might be at Aston Villa, maybe. I'm not even sure anymore. That's just like a journeyman that pretty much goes everywhere. He'll probably show up on someone's Sunday team and then be in the starting lineup against Chelsea the next day. I feel like that's kind of like his vibe. So, but even then, someone comes in Aston Villa, the president of footballing operations, and immediately moves him as far away from the operations of the club as possible. You know what he said? Monchi came in and said, you know what, I'm going to make you the global director of football development and international academies. I don't know if you know this, folks, but I don't think Aston Villa has international academies. They might. I don't know how the football club is run, but even if that was a role, I don't know what the fuck that has to do with the first team. In my role, which he was at first buying players that directly went into the first team to now being the global director of football development and international academies. So, sounds like to me, again, title is bullshit. Munchie came in and said, I'm going to put you as far away from the actual operations of the club. And you'll know that because the title I made up for you is crap. This is a made up job. All right. I'm going to put you as far away from this team as possible, give you a made up job title position, and maybe you'll kind of get the hint that I don't want you anymore. That your services are no longer needed. And this is just a friendly way so that I don't have to fire your ass and embarrass you in front of everybody. I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. I'm gonna make you the global director of football development and international academies. You're gonna keep your job, keep your salary. Hell, I mean, I might even pay you more. And I'm gonna give you a year to get the fuck out of this club, to get the fuck out of Aston Villa. And I don't want to see you ever come back again. And now here he is at Tottenham. Now here he is signing the likes of Sousa, right? Signing the likes of James Wilson, right? Signing teenager after teenager after teenager after we have so many teenagers, our bench is filled with teenagers. We literally don't have anybody else to put on the field except for the teenagers this motherfucker bought. Any of the teenagers he didn't buy, these are the academy products that were never good to be in the team in the first place. So, to me, right, 6 years, Copenhagen, decent job, right? Give him the round of give him the round of applause for that. 2020 with Aston Villa, 2023, decent. You finished in the top 10. Okay? Time here at Tottenham. Boo. He's been terrible. He's been god-awful. And to be quite honest, has to be a part of the going out with the Enoch out. Yeah, man. These are the two people you got that are running the show right now. You got a dude who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, has literally just probably lied his way into this job position. And then you have the other dude who had maybe a good 5 to 6 years at a small club, has done mediocrely at Aston Villa, and has done terrible here, right? And this ownership, right? This ownership board, everybody, first of all, said, hey, the reason why everything was ran so badly and the reason why the transfers were like this, the reason why everything has been sucking was because of this Daniel Levy guy. This Daniel Levy guy has been a real big issue here. But hey, we're going to get rid of him. Don't worry. We're going to come in. We're going to settle everything. We're going to make sure everything is good. We're going to move up. We can only go up from here, everybody. The steps and the platform we have is only up from here. We just won the Europa League. We're going to come and revolutionize everything. We're going to make sure that the sporting success and what we've seen of recent is more constant, if not a constant, for Tottenham Hotspur. They come in the first season. They bring in Vinay. Johan Lange was already here, and he said, you know what? He's been doing such an amazing and awesome job. We're going to make you the sporting director. Fabio Paratici, the guy that's been, actually recruiting and everything for the club. We're going to split the role with him, right? Split the role with him. And you know what that could also be as well? You know how a 50-50 position for the sporting director role sounds a lot to me like the, the global director of international football and academies, whatever. Bullshit title. It sounds like a bullshit title that is made up so the club can let you know, instead of me embarrassing your ass in front of everybody, I'm going to put you in a 50-50 role so you get the message, we don't want you here anymore. Because if you were doing great, you don't get put in a 50-50 role. If you were doing great, you don't get moved as far away from the job you were doing into the global international director's positions, whatever the fuck that title is, right? If you're doing a good job, you don't get changed and moved around like that. You get put in the place where you're needed, if anything, if you move at all. If he's buying the right players, then you make sure he continues to buy the right players. You don't just say, well, we're going to have you stop buying the players and move you somewhere else. And, whoever we come in to buy the players or whatever, we'll have to find a different guy. Or we're going to let you do it, but now we're just going to put 4 to 5 layers of people between you and making the decisions now. So now all you have to do is say yes versus actually being the person going out there and stuff. If that was what you were good, whatever it is, people don't get moved as far away from what they were doing before if they were doing well. So, and I'm not, again, I don't have a sports agent friend. I don't know anybody that lives in England, anybody that lives in London. I'm just using a little thing called common sense, right? If I'm doing a job, whether my boss I've had for the last 10 years or the boss I have in the last 5 minutes, if I'm doing a good job, you know what they're going to say? Keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. Thumbs up. Hey, good job. good job. They don't say, hey, can you stop what you're doing for a second? I got another job for you that's all the way over there. You mind doing that for me, buddy? You know what that sounds like? It sounds like they want you to stop doing whatever you're doing because you're not doing it well enough, right? And it sounds a lot like, to me, the farther away you go over there, the sooner they're going to be looking to get rid of you. So why not you take the message now and you leave? That's what that is. So we could say we did the same thing to Paratici, 50-50 role. We want you gone because we want to bring Johan Lange into this position to be the sporting director. We want to bring Vinay in to be the CEO, COO, CCO, COCK. We want him to be the guy. We want Johan Lange to be the guy. And you know what it sounds a lot like to me? And we're about to wrap it up here because we've been going for an hour and a half. We're about to wrap it up here. You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like to me that this ownership was slapped awake with all the protests and the media coverage of last season. They didn't know what to do with the club and where to go from there. And you know what they said? You doing that thing, go over here. You doing this thing, come over here. You come with me. We're going to go like the scene out of a movie. When you have three regular people who don't know each other, and all of a sudden they got to team up to fix a fucking football club. Like it's a movie. Like we're a comedy. Well, it is a comedy. Tottenham is a comedy. And that's the situation. You had three people who don't know what the hell is going on, and now they all have to work together to put together a football season. Now they're going to have to put together a plan for a relegation battle. Because I guarantee you, we are going to drop points in games we should be winning points. Other teams will pick up points in games you think they would drop points. An 8-point lead with what game week are we in? Let's see what game week we're in. Game week 24. We got what? It's a 38-game season. We got 14, 15 games left. In game week 24, when you got 14 to 15 games left, you're telling me you don't think 8 points can just come out of nowhere? You don't think a team can just drop 8 points in 14 games when you only have 11 senior players playing at a time? At least with those other teams, I'm not sure what their situations are, but I don't think those teams are going through injury crisis. They're playing their strongest 11s. It may not be good, but they're playing their strongest 11s, or their second to strongest 11s, or their third to strongest 11. They don't have a bench full of academy players. They don't have a bench full of teenagers. They got strong players they can put together. They got players that have been in a relegation fight that know I need to be on it for this game. We can ease off this game. The pressure's not really on. It's a big team. What are you going to do? This game against an Everton. This game against a Bournemouth. This game against this team. This is where we need to turn it on. Guess who's now on the list? Tottenham. Oh, we're playing Tottenham. We need to turn it on. We can get some points off of Tottenham. I know it. We can get points off of Tottenham. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it's not going to change because we have Vinay. We're just going to end with this. We have Vinay. We have Johan Lange. We have Enoch. Three-headed dragon that needs to be slain, right? And I'll say it once again, just to wrap up here, right? Domestic fans, you have to be the ones to say something. Because me talking and screaming into this camera on YouTube is not going to do shit. I might get views. People might comment on it. That's the most I can do. That's all I can do. You there at the stadium, you have to do something. You have to voice your discontent. You can't be finicky. You have to be the strong representation. That's what it means to be a fan going to the game, right? You're that on the scene representation of the fan base. And if you're not willing to do that, if you're just there just to I'm just here being me, being silly, being cute at a Tottenham Hotspur game, everything's going to continue to get worse. And you will be the one to blame because whenever there's going to be an opportunity to do something about it, you're the front line. You're the front face. And guess what? If you don't want to do that, don't go to the games. Don't go to the games. If you're upset with what's happening, but you're not willing to do anything about it, stop going to the games. You're just disappointing yourself. You're spending money. I'm trying to help you. If anything, I'm helping you. Stop wasting your money coming to these fucking games if you know the football's not good and you're unhappy with it. Stop going. Just stop going. Spend that money. Invest in real estate. Invest in stock. Buy your kids a gift. Get your wife a nice necklace. Wives, buy your husband a suit. Buy your kids some new shoes. Get them a laptop. Buy a new cell phone. Like, you could be doing so much stuff with that money instead of continuing to give it to this ownership and then being angry at fans like me for being upset that you just continue to give them the money. You're handing them the money and you're looking at me like, what's your problem? My problem is that the ownership is robbing you blind because you're not getting anything out of it. And you're mad at me for trying to tell you to stop, to trying to confront you. They're saying, I want better for you in this club. And you're saying, well, what's your deal, buddy? As you're sitting there counting up the dollar bills and handing it, well, what's your big issue? Well, what's your issue with me giving them money and all this? What do you think my issue is? You're giving them the power to continue to do this. Stop doing it. That's my issue. That's my issue. Like, you can't fund them to keep doing this because they're not just fucking you over, they're fucking me over. And I'm not happy about it. You may be happy about it. I'm not. So I'm going to do something about it. You may not do anything about it. You may not care to do something about it. I care to do something about it. And if you're caught up in the crossfires of that, I'm sorry. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Because, boy, was I caught up in your crossfires when you were trying to figure out what's going on with this ownership and what's going on with the club. And, boy, did all the blame come onto the international fans who don't know anything about this club, who don't know what's going on. You're just happy to be here at a game if you ever go to a game. You're not a real fan. This is for the true 1882. This is for the real Yid Army, whatever BS. Well, you had your chance to show yourselves being the real fans, and what'd you do? Yeah. Oh, man, I can't wait for halftime, bro. This team sucks. Spurs suck. I can't. You know, I'm going to tweet about this. Spurs are a terrible team. Don't know why I waste my money or time. All right, halftime. Time to go. 75th minute walkout, but it's 2-2. We could get a game winner. Why would I walk out during a draw? It's 2-2. We could win the game. I'm not walking out now. I got to support the club. I got to cheer on the players. I got to give it a rest. Give me a break. Give me an effing break. Unreal. Well, that's it. That's the show. Went on for way longer than I think I've ever had, but that's okay. I'm upset. I'm not very happy with some of these fans. And if you follow me on X, see my tweets and everything, you're probably going to see me just lashing out randomly at random people. That's just what's going to happen, folks. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of you being the representation for me, and this is what I get in return is complaining and moaning. I hear you're complaining and moaning. I'm complaining and moaning about the same thing. Why don't you do something about it since you're on the front line? Instead of telling me and complaining to me, can you believe this? No, I can't believe it. Like, you're there in the game with an organized protest in that game, and here you are. Can't believe this ownership's sucking some more. God, these guys are crazy. Another transfer window down the drain. Can you believe it? No, I can't believe it. Because you had your chance to voice your discontent and you just let it go by. You just let it. Anyway, thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. Last minute logistics here. Come on, you know what it is. Like and subscribe. Like the live stream. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll be going off on fans probably a little bit more because this is probably going to be a constant for the end of the season. I cannot believe change for Tottenham wasted all that time and effort like that. I feel bad for the homies. I really do. I feel bad for them. But like and subscribe. Share this content. Share this with the fans over there. Hopefully this message gets out to them. They're not going to watch all this, but hopefully they watch some of this because this is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. So like and subscribe. You'll get more Daily Spurs content. You'll get more rants like this. So trust me. It's going to be a constant. It's going to be a constant this season. Well, I will be live Wednesday night. That will be February 4th, 6 p.m., same time, same place, sitting in the same seat, not wearing the same clothes, hopefully. But it will be the same face, same day, Los Spurs. Then I will see you Wednesday. Until then, peace.